So I thought I'd make a video about the pros and cons of working in estate planning or in the probate field. So essentially, if you're involved in this area of law, um, you do essentially two things. First of all, you draft estate plans. So this would be wills, trusts, powers of attorney, healthcare proxies, things like that. And also you probate estates. So when a person passes away, you do all the administrative work to settle the estate. So there are some pros and cons, and probably the biggest con, the hardest part of this area of practice is just essentially uh, getting started in it. People are not inclined to seek out attorneys and to plan their estate. Most people don't want to think of death. They don't want to prepare for death. So, and they also don't want to spend money on something that's not going to be immediately useful to them. So it's hard to get people into your office with a check in hand signing their legal paperwork. So it's hard to get going. It's also hard if you haven't written numerous wills and estate plans. It's hard to get probate work. So when somebody dies and they have a will, the family usually calls the person whose name is on the will, or maybe in many cases the lawyer keeps the will at his office. So the family is almost at his mercy to go to that lawyer to probate the estate. Now, one other negative here, one thing to be aware of, is when you execute an estate plan, you need two witnesses there. And it's not always easy to get two objective witnesses to sit down for 15 or 20 minutes while your client signs paperwork, especially if you're a new lawyer or if you're a solo practitioner. So that's also something to keep in mind. Now, as to the positives, there are a lot of positive things about practicing estate planning, handling probate, and drafting wills. First of all, it's low key. So other areas like litigation and real estate, the slightest error can be catastrophic for your client and for you financially. And the pressure is very much on you to do your job and to do it right the first time. With probate, everything moves at a slower pace. So you have time to draft the estate plan, review it, make sure everything's perfect before your client signs. And then likewise, when you're probating estates, you have time to prepare the paperwork. If something's wrong, it's not the end of the world. You just need to go back, fix it, resubmit the paperwork. So it's far, far less stressful than other areas of the law. Another good thing about it is that the clientele is usually very good. These are people who have assets, who care about their family, they want to prepare for their death. It's a very selfless thing to do an estate plan. So you're working with good people, and in many instances, not just on the estate planning side, but when you're probating the estate, you're dealing with people who have just inherited money. So they are inclined to pay your bill, to get you the paperwork you need promptly. It's not like some other area like bankruptcy or something like that where you really need to haunt your clients to get the paperwork you need and get them to sign the forms you want. Okay, so it's a great area of practice, good clients, low key, not much stress. Some of the negatives, though, it's hard to get going. It's hard to convince people to come into your office and to pay for an estate plan and to take the time to do it. And it's just a good area of law if you're starting out to have as sort of an ancillary thing until you could build up a clientele and then make it a more full-time part of your practice.